Cumia, formerly of the Opie and Anthony Show, which I knew him from, of course, and now the owner, the entrepreneur, the voice, the face. He's an author. He owns his own media company. The only thing he hasn't done yet is solved coronavirus.
Rick, what's up, man?
What's happening, Ant? Welcome. Welcome. This is our, you know what? And full disclosure, this is the first time Anthony and I have ever done something like this. Even though he's been on the air,
Yeah.
and I left the show back, just after we got fired from CBS, and then they went to XM, and we're there for years, and then all these years. This is the first time we've hung out. Like I helped him,
Yeah.
we record the book in your basement, or I should say your movie studio.
Yes, yeah, that's fucked. I didn't realize any cursing on this or not.
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's weird. We never did anything like this. I'd love to have you on my show too, obviously.
Yeah.
Come on in. I mean, we have a long storied history.
Yeah, and
together,
and you know what's so funny about that is that, and what triggered this is last week when I texted you, I was watching a video from I think it was like 2015. It was just after you had lost the XM gig and you'd started your own thing, and Norton was still there with Opie, and there was that tension, and it crumbled right before our eyes.
Yeah.
but how I don't even know the female guest, whoever it was, she just mentioned, I just got to say I went on Anthony's show, and all of a sudden a hush fell over the crowd.
Yeah, we haven't, me and the old Opster haven't spoken in quite some time. It did not go down very amicably,
No.
But who gives a crap? I don't care.
That's
what
true.
he's doing. I'm doing my own thing, and he's whining on a beach somewhere. So
Right.
whatevs.
You've started your own, as I mentioned, media empire. You've got Compound Media. It's on an app. You can watch live. You can grab it on demand. There's a whole host of things, which is pretty cool. It's compoundmedia.com. But again, I was like I said, I was listening to that whole thing as it self-destructed, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's so much here. And I started wondering, I'm like, is that where Greg Shells came into play?
Yeah. The walking on Greg Shells. Yeah, well, you worked for the guy long enough. Also, you know what it was like tiptoeing around, making sure you don't upset him, or the whole show will suffer. We all used to go in there with issues and problems and our daily bullshit that happened, and you'd sit down to do the show, and you'd just put it out of your mind for the 4 hours or so of doing the show.
Right.
But you knew when you walked in, if he had an issue, the whole show was just going to suffer. So you had to walk on eggshells, obviously, and then the fans kind of turned it into Greg Shells, which is pretty goddamn funny.
And weren't you selling T-shirts like that too, or somebody was?
Oh yeah. A T-shirt will come up for anything. You get coronavirus T-shirts now,
I know.
and everything. We're still broadcasting from the city. I still take the train in during this whole thing, and it's empty, and it smells like Lysol. They scrub the trains. It's mass transit has turned out to be the best way to stay away from people. Oddly enough.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're doing that. But I got the studio in the basement at my house all ready to rock again, just in case everything goes sideways.
Now,
we're just going to keep broadcasting.
I was going to say, now, has that something that's been bandied around, like the building? Because I know you're in a big building.
Yeah.
It's
empty though.
Have they put out any hey, we're going to be closing things down and all that stuff to you guys, or no?
Well, they haven't yet. I guess it depends on how bad this thing gets or not. But we just want a contingency plan just in case we have to bug out.
Right.
We could go out to my house. It's all set up. I already asked the people to open the pool up. We'll heat that up to a nice toasty temperature. We'll do shows out back. We'll do it at the bar. It's just we will continue broadcasting right through till the last person drops dead.
They haven't started chasing us for our brains yet, so I think we're in good shape.
Not yet, but I have some artillery at my house just in case. everything. The guns come in handy. People always ask, what would you need? Like, what supplies would you want to have if something really goes sideways? And I go, you just need a gun. Then you could take everyone else's shit.
And a sign on your door that says "Not a gun-free zone."
Right. Exactly. You could definitely assume it's not a gun-free zone.
Now, what's interesting is that because I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, you know what? And it's something I just posted today is that they keep talking about, flatten the curve. Now I'm thinking, now which fitness company is going to be the first one to hashtag that in a commercial and say, hey, get ready for summer.
Flatten the curve.
Flatten the curve.
What a hack that would be. You would have that we catch so much shit. Do you know people died from this? I was looking at that. I was looking at that graph and stuff last night, seeing how the spike of not flattening the curve, and then the length of the flattened curve. The length of the flattened curve seems detrimental too. Like they don't understand. The longer we keep this thing going and keep people home, the economy suffers. People suffer. There's going to be people without jobs, without businesses. So, just because you're flattening down the curve, you don't get something for nothing. It spreads it out over a longer period of time, and people still suffer. And then you got to reach the point. I think about that scene in Fight Club where Edward Norton is talking about what he does for a living, and he's like, well, once the cost of a recall is more than the cost of any legal actions, or he goes, we don't do a recall.
Right.
And the kid's braces around the ashtray when in the car accident he had, he was talking about. It's one of those things where if it's not cost effective, they don't do it. So at what point does it get so bad that it's not worth it anymore? You got to just let some people die.
Right. Well, you know what I'm thinking? This is going to turn into a real life purge.
Yeah.
Well,
don't come to my house.
Yeah, no kidding.
Unless, you want to pick up a gun and fight. I got plenty of rooms, plenty of guns.
and some bunkers set up.
And some bunkers.
So now what else is happening in Anthony's life? Because let's face it, a lot of times, people, and it's amazing because, like I said, you've created this whole channel, compoundmedia.com, where you've got all these different shows. I love Talib Starks, by the way.
Oh, he's on right now. I love that show. It's hilarious. He does so much work on it. Like, he's a guy that works. Or at least myself, I've always been a, wing it kind of seat of my pants thing.
No,
I go
really?
in, I have some topics I want to talk about. Yeah. Yeah, you don't know that. I have some topics I want to talk about, and we talk about them. But Talib, works on his show, He's producing stuff and it's a great show, really funny.
Yeah. But now let's talk about you. Because now that you're the guy, you're the boss, you're the face.
Yeah.
Do you still have the same show prep, as we'll put it?
I actually do more show prep now than I ever did with the Opie and Anthony show. Not that it's a good or a bad thing either way, but it's just more conducive to doing show prep. I'm pretty much, for my show, it's me and Dave Landau.
Right.
And we do the show, so I make sure we have things to talk about and whatnot. But as far as all the other stuff for the business end of it goes, I've pretty much given that to Keith the Cop. He runs the place because, me, I'm not that guy. I can't get in people's faces. I'm non-confrontational. I can't say no to anyone. If it was up to me, everyone working here would be making $2 million a year, and I'd go broke.
Right. But
so I need somebody that knows how to crack some head, and an ex-NYPD lieutenant is just that guy.
Kind of be the heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And Keith has been at it. He's been with you from the start, right? Because let's face it, I remember that that day. And Keith had talked to me about it. He's like, he was laying on his couch.
Yeah. Yeah, when I got fired from Sirius XM, I was just like, uh-oh. Like, I have no idea what to do. And Keith came in. He was like, hey, you got that studio in the basement. What are you doing? Why don't we get it together? We'll figure out how to put it online. I mean, from nothing. Yeah. From nothing. We just figured out how to make a show, and it was pretty much a lifeboat at that point. And then over the course of time, we've been doing this for 5 years now, and it's turned into a real thing with other shows and a studio here in New York City. I couldn't be happier the way it turned out. We were really at the forefront of this whole thing for quite some time.
Yeah, and then you were on the hunt for a co-host, right? A running mate. And I know there were rumors swirling regarding another former host you used to work with.
Oh, geez, the Obster, yeah.
Well, not only that. I remember that coming up as a possibility, but also Jim Norton.
Oh yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, I love Jimmy. I still work with him whenever we can. I do whatever shows he wants me to do, live shows, and I would love to be able to do his show at Sirius XM, but I'm persona non grata over there.
Oh, you're
but
back
he comes
on the list?
And does. Oh yeah, I'm back on the shit list over there. But he comes over and does my show here. And we're still just unbelievable, great friends and working associates. But yeah, I would have loved that. But Jimmy's got a great thing going over there at Sirius XM. So whatever it is, and he's welcome anytime.
Right.
To come over and do whatever he wants to do over here at Compound Media. That's for sure.
You know what? And it's funny too because I don't know if it's funny. It's kind of, to me, it's funny. I think at the time when the article came out to certain people it wasn't funny. I think you know what I'm referring to. Some little thing I did with Chauncey. You remember old Chauncey?
Yes.
Oh my God!
Chauncey Hayden.
Opie lost his mother effing. And I remember you guys talking about that day, and I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah. Chauncey worked for Steppin' Out magazine,
right,
here in New York City for a while, and he did an article on me and Opie, and talking about everything we used to do. And one of the big things we did was Wow Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Girls would just pull their tits out if they saw a Wow sticker on the car. I'm sure a lot of people have seen them over the years, and. Yeah, Chauncey, Opie called Chauncey after the interview because he wanted to clear something up. He told Chauncey, I just want to let you know, I was the one that came up with wow. I was the one that came up with it. He had to make sure Chauncey put that in the article. And me and Chauncey have laughed about that for years now. He just came back from Ireland for a little while and did my show. We talk constantly on Facebook and Twitter and texts. He's a really cool, funny guy. Over there in Ireland now with his daughter. So yeah, we joke about that all the time. Like, oh, I invented that.
Well, I remember when that happened because it was hilarious. And but what I'm talking about, Chauncey and I Chauncey did an interview with me separately. And then when that came out, Opie lost his S. And then Jim, who at the time, and this was like a delicate. I think this was at the time when you and Jim were exploring each other's feelings. You guys were starting to kind of start to gravitate towards each other.
Yeah, we were gelling.
Because I remember you completely down the middle. As the article's getting dissected, you're just down the middle. You're not bashing. You're not praising. You're just down the middle. But
trying to be non-confrontational.
Right, and Opie's just like, what a piece of ass, blah, blah, blah. And then Jim got to the part about him, and unfortunately, he kind of misread it, and ever since then, and I've seen him a few times, he looks at me like I'm the coronavirus. Doesn't want to touch me, doesn't. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
but it was, but I was looking at it like, well, he doesn't understand the backstory of where I was coming from. Because I was looking at him as your replacement, and he did, because Opie was in that I got to replace Anthony mode for a while.
Oh, I know, what an idiot! How did that work out once I left? How did he replace Anthony when I got fired? He didn't last a year over there.
I know, crazy. So it's
and now
funny.
He's doing shows. Now he's yelling at his iPhone on an empty beach alone.
Saying, bro.
Yeah. Hey, brother man, I'm here alone on a beach with no friends. Oh, shit.
Oh, my goodness. But yeah,
it's crazy.
There are so many, and this could be an Opie bashing fest, but I don't want to go there right now. I'll save that for your show.
Yeah, no shit.
But and again, with all the things that you've got coming up, you finally found Dave, which seems you guys been together over a year now, right?
Oh yeah, well over a year. He came in after the Artie Lang experiment exploded.
Right. Though I gotta say, I got to say those billboards were awesome.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh my God. The Artie Lang thing was hilarious. I mean, we Artie's just such a funny guy, and we bring him on board, and within 9 months it was like, oh, Jesus Christ, this guy's a mess. So, so Dave had been coming on, even before Artie as a guest, and he always was just a funny guy, knew exactly how to be a co-host to a show just naturally. And he's fantastic. He's just such a great guy to bounce shit off of and bullshit with on a daily basis. We actually, the other day, it was me, Dave Landau, and Don Jameson. You know, he's a comic, and he was on that metal show on VH1 with Eddie Trunk and Jim Florentine. And we were on the other day, and for 10 minutes we went off on Jared Leto, because Jared Leto apparently didn't know that there was anything going on with coronavirus. He was in the desert.
Didn't he self-isolate for no reason or something?
Yeah. He isolated for no reason. He was out in the desert for 12 days or some horse shit. And we were just laughing at how pretentious the whole thing was. And we just started goofing on it. It's up on YouTube, on the Compound Media YouTube page. And it's so funny. It's 10 minutes of us just beating the shit out of Jared Leto. And it reminds me, whenever we get into a role like that, it absolutely reminds me of the old days at O&A when it was me and you and Ben and Psycho Mark and Jimmy. And we'd get on a topic and just bat it around and laugh till we cried. Just hilariously funny.
Oh, yeah. Beat it to death until it's not funny anymore.
Right. And then move along.
And then maybe come back to it later, but still.
Yeah, then it would come back later. But it's those things that Dave, first of all, Dave is just great at doing. And the collection of mental patients we have here doing shows at Compound Media are so good to sit in with and bullshit with, because they all have this twisted, don't give a fuck, PC can go fuck itself sense of humor. So, we really love what we're doing over here now.
Right. And you know what? It kind of reminds me of, because we did that. I remember we did that once, and that was the danger of, kind of at that time in history in radio, being in New York City where we were and high profile, because the O&A show was jamming at that point. And we started talking about, I think it was the Golden Globes or it was the Oscars and Sarah Jessica Parker. And lo and behold, after 20 minutes of her in the barrel getting pounded, she calls in.
Oh Christ!
And you guys,
she was in a cab. She was in a cab. No,
she was in her trailer, and her driver.
Oh, it was in her trailer.
Yeah,
right.
And her driver was like, her driver was listening to it, and she's like, "Are they talking about me?" And boom, and then she called in, and you guys folded like a cheap. You guys turned into such pussies.
Oh yeah.
It was hilarious.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, as a premier shock jock in New York City, you never assume that the people you're beating the shit out of are going to call. Yeah, we folded like the cowards we are.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Because even I had to go. I remember we were in spots. I ran out to check because Garrett, now known as Garrett, used to be known as Stinky. He's like, I think I got Sarah Jessica on the phone. I'm like, who?
They're like, what? No way. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, we were all like, when you said it, we're like, no way. And then, oh shit, it is her. Yeah, that was great. Garrett's working for me now.
I know, and he's also hosting a show.
Oh yeah, Garrett's funny, man. We got him over here. E-Rock's working here at Compound Media. So, contrary to other people's beliefs, I actually work with and hang out with a lot of ex-employees.
Yeah, it's funny. You look at the common denominator and one of these things.
Yeah. I see you from listening to the intro of Ugly American. Was that you singing that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I did write it. I did write it, but I did not sing.
Cool. I did a good David Bowie.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I lost track of him. I forget his name. I still got to pay him too.
Oh shit! Royalties. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
that's why I have.
And what's funny
is I have my brother do. I have my brother do all the music for my show.
Yeah, he knows where to find you.
Yeah,
and he's carrying.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of what else is coming up, because again, you've got the Compound Media, you've got all the shows. You did the book about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Which was something which was a lot of fun to be involved in, I must say, and thank you for the mention.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was we did the audio book, me and you downstairs. I have a theater in my house, and we just sat there in that theater for hours trying to pound that thing out.
Yeah.
And people don't realize after a while anything you're reading is like a tongue twister. So a few breaks to grab a couple of beers, and we continued. But it came out really great. People that listen to the audio say they really love it. They love hearing the thing in my voice.
Right.
And and if we have to go down and bunker down at my house the whole show, Landau's going to stay over. I have some spare rooms, and we'll do some stuff from the theater and from the bar area and everything. It should be a lot of fun. We'll make fun out of it. Yeah.
So you've got that, and also I was talking to Johnny Russo, one of the writers for the book. He says there's talk of maybe a second. Is that true?
Yeah. I've been knocking a few ideas around, kind of trying to survive in this political correct environment we live in,
right.
and trying to entertain as a irreverent type of comedy show, and steer around those obstacles of you hit one, it's like a landmine. You just explode. You're not there anymore. That's how comedy works in this day and age, unfortunately.
Now, do you know that from experience? Is that something you've dealt with before in the past?
Like that. We've had so much experience with that over the course of the years, even early with the FCC, which is kind of a joke now. When we were at NEW, the FCC was the monster you had to worry about upsetting and getting in trouble over. And now the FCC doesn't do anything to anybody, and it's all just people. It's little rats on social media that rat you out and get people fired and whatnot. It's amazing that it turned into that, from it being, Howard Stern was crucified by the FCC and us at NEW and FCC complaints and fines. But now it's just, it's regular Joe who's out there ratting you out.
Yeah. People that probably don't even listen to the show. They just hear something and
Oh, yeah. Then they gotta friggin' crawl on their slimy belly and do something to get people fired.
I feel like you've had some experience with this.
A tad experience.
Well, you know what? I know you've got your show coming up in just a few minutes. You're going to be broadcasting live again from compoundmedia.com. You do it every Monday through Thursday?
Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time, because I figured if I'm making up my own hours, it's going to be 2 hours a day, and goddamn, I'm getting a permanent 3-day weekend. So I made my own rules.
It's good to be the king.
It really is.
Well, again, thank you, Anthony Cumia, for coming on my podcast. Crazy. Again, the first time
Thank you, Rick Delgado.
We've done this. And,
I know. You got to come on my show, too. We'll hang out and laugh our balls off.
Well, I got time.
Cool. Yeah, everyone apparently seems to have time now.
I even have a V8 where I can just drive over zombies on my way there.
Yeah, there you go. That's all you need.
Well, again, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Please download this at iTunes.com, of course, or SoundCloud. You can go to compoundmedia.com and check out Anthony's show. Sign up. You can watch him on demand. You can listen live, watch him live, check out his podcast. He's got a YouTube page. He's got a velociraptor in his yard. It's amazing what he has.
I play video games on Twitch. Twitch.tv/acumia, where I yell and get killed every 2 seconds by 12-year-olds.
Awesome.
It's great.
Well, sounds like fun. If people want to, of course, play you online, they can't. They can just watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, again, thanks for coming on, Ant. I appreciate it. And again, I'd love to come in and we'll bash other people some more. It'll be fun.
Yeah, why not? Thanks a lot, Rick, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, be good.